Hi everybody. If you're new here, again, my name's Emily, and this is my channel, Em Reads, where we talk about books and the books I'm reading and the books I want to read. And here we are for another Friday Reads, because it's Friday and we're headed into the weekend, and it's gonna be great. I'm sorry if the lighting here today is a little bit dim. It was really sunny all morning long, and then just after lunch we've had a little pop-up thunderstorm, so my normal natural light is a little darker today, but I'll see what I can do about that in editing to maybe lighten it up a little bit. But yeah, so let's just talk about the books I've read this week. So last week I did talk about that I had made it through the first third or so of Emma, and I have made essentially no progress in Emma this week so far for Jane Austen July. I think I got to read maybe like another 20 pages or so. Yeah, I really need to get on the ball with this weekend, hopefully to finish it before July is out, because I do have a video that I want to film about this and another one of Jane Austen's novels that I hope I can get to. So I need to make some more progress on this, but I'm looking forward to doing that. I just need to get on the ball. It was just a really kind of hectic work week, and so this one kind of fell by the wayside. But while I didn't make much progress in Emma, I did finish The Wicked Day by Mary Stewart. And last week, I know I was a little iffy on how I felt about this, how I was going to like it in comparison to the first three books in Mary Stewart's Arthurian saga. If you didn't watch my last video, the first three books in Mary Stewart's Arthurian saga were all from the perspective of Merlin, and followed Merlin from the time he was a young boy to his interactions with Arthur when Arthur was a young man, and then through the beginnings of Arthur's kingship. And this book is from the perspective of Mordred, Arthur's son, through his brief incestuous liaison with his half-sister Morgase. And last week I talked about how it hadn't quite enamored me yet the same way that the books from Merlin's perspective had, but we had not yet met up with Arthur in this book. And as soon as we did, it all really kind of changed for me. It still doesn't have the exact same feel as the others, and frankly, I shouldn't expect it to, because it's from the perspective of a different character. So it's going to look different, it's going to feel different. And it did, but I did end up enjoying it very, very much. While the other books have this kind of sense of excitement because you know generally what's coming with Arthur and his coming glory and things like that, there's a joy to it, tinged with some sadness, as you know Merlin's decline is coming, as well as the future troubles that Arthur will endure. And this book, gosh, it's like, you know what's coming the whole time and you're dreading it. And you start to wonder, like, surely there's going to be a way that they can avoid it and it won't happen. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, but in such a beautiful way. I'm really glad that I stuck with it and finished this. Still would highly recommend this book in addition to her whole series. So, The Wicked Day by Mary Stewart. And now for just a little story time in conjunction with the other book I read this week. That book is Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fannie Flagg. Most of you will know this book, if you know of it, because of the 1991 film starring Kathy Bates and Jessica Tandy. The book and the film depict a middle-aged woman named Evelyn Couch. Evelyn feels lost and out of place. She's in her late 40s. She's an empty nester. She no longer feels moored or grounded in her life. But while visiting her mother-in-law in a nursing home, Evelyn meets and befriends Mrs. Threadgood, another resident of the nursing home. Mrs. Threadgood recounts to Evelyn the story of Idgie Threadgood in the 30s and 40s in the small town of Whistle Stop, Alabama, and the cafe that Idgie ran there with her companion Ruth. This book is about as Southern can get, in my opinion. It discusses the hardships of the Depression, the strength of female love and friendship, the importance of good barbecue, the unique talents of Southern storytellers, and it candidly depicts the racism that was present in rural Alabama as well as in Birmingham. But this book is special to me for more than just those reasons. This novel has a local and perhaps distantly personal connection to me. While Whistle Stop, Alabama may be a fictional town, it's inspired by the very real Irondale, Alabama, which is nestled just off I-20 outside of Birmingham. Irondale is home to the Irondale Cafe, which was purchased in 1932 by Miss Bess Fortenberry. Fannie Flagg, who wrote Fried Green Tomatoes, was the great niece of Bess Fortenberry. The Irondale Cafe, where Fannie spent much time with her Aunt Bess, served as the inspiration for the Whistle Stop Cafe in her novel. And Bess Fortenberry, her aunt, inspired the character of Idgie Threadgood. By all accounts, Bess was as strong-willed and vivacious as the character her niece brought to life. But before Bess Fortenberry bought the Irondale Cafe, a Miss Maggie Prentice worked there. Maggie Prentice was my great-great-grandmother. It has long been an unconfirmed family rumor that Mama Maggie at least partially inspired the character of Ruth Jameson. If that is true, I can recognize the parts that would fit and the parts that are wholly fictional or inspired by other individuals. Either way, the Irondale Cafe has been a fixture in the Birmingham area for decades. Fortenberry eventually sold the cafe to another family when her health began to fail. That family completely renovated and remodeled the original building in the 1970s, but the cafe remains on the same property next to the railroad tracks. The restaurant is still open every day except Saturday for lunch. So today, my husband and I went to the Irondale Cafe and had the best lunch we've had in ages. It serves a classic beaten 3 menu. I got roast chicken, cornbread, broccoli and rice casserole, and of course, fried green tomatoes and sweet tea. My husband got fried chicken, fried okra, mac and cheese, and a bottled Coke. For dessert, you had your pick of pies, cobbler, and ice cream. We ate and reminisced about local history while the trains rolled by on the tracks outside, still in operation. While the building is not the same as the original cafe and the town around it has changed, you still get a sense of stepping back in time, or at least out of time for a moment. It was a good reminder to appreciate the small bits of history that surround all of us and the tiny little corners and nooks and crannies, even if they aren't grand or far-reaching. Needless to say, we cleaned our plates. Have a great weekend, y'all.